Hello, people. Sebastian here again. So today it's not. Sorry about that. Hello, people. So today, it's not going to actually be as I said it was going to be, which was yesterday. I said I was probably going to make a how they became a GM video. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the game between Magnus Carlsen and Nihal Sarin, a strong Indian grandmaster. This was, I'm pretty sure, played in 2018 or 2016. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was 2019. But we're going to begin the game off with e4. I'm going to move my mouse because I'm not dumb. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the Ruy Lopez, or as I call it, the Spanish, a6, bishop a4, knight f6. This is a normal This is normal Spanish. d3, defending his pawn on e5. d6, activating his dark squared bishop, but applying a pin, and it defends this pawn. c4. The idea of c4 is to develop the knight to c3 and be able to have this pawn structure. If we give white a move, bishop e7, knight c6, something like this is what I am talking about. Alright, so we get the move g6 coming out from black, going for the fianchetted bishop. h3, preventing anything, may it be the knight or the bishop, from coming to the g7 square. Sorry, not g7, g4 square. Bishop to g7, fianchetting his bishop, putting it on this long diagonal. This is a normal idea in most openings. Knight c3, developing his knight behind this pawn. Knight to d7 and bishop e3, opposed to the move bishop to g5, knight f6, and bishop e3. The only difference between this is the pawn pushed on f6, preventing the queen or this bishop from getting developed. Granted, I'm pretty sure that this was I'm pretty sure that this was a blitz game, so you gotta put that into your brain that this was a blitz game. In the real game, we get d4, bishop takes d4, e takes d4, bishop takes d7. Now, in this game, Magnus Carlsen actually missed a move. Knight to e2. Attacking this pawn would have kept it equal. But bishop takes d7, d takes c3, bishop takes c8, and c takes b2. Black played this line because if we got this position, as you can see, they're equal, opposed to in this position where black is up 2 pawns. Where white's up 2 pawns, but after this position, they're up 1 pawn. Black's up 1 pawn. Nihal Sarin is up a pawn, sorry. Now this position, believe it or not, has nearly been reached. If Nihal Sarin played the move queen takes c8, there was a game played in this position between some players. I don't know exactly who, but I know that this position has been played before. With queen takes c8, d4, c5, rook takes b2, c takes d4, queen d3, b5, c takes b5, queen c3, offering a queen trade and attacking the rook, queen to b1, defending the rook, a takes b5, Rook takes b5, queen a3. Oh, sorry. Queen a3. You can't defend this because this pawn pushes. Attacks your rook. You have to do this, and this is kind of just a pain in your ass, at least I think. I'm not 100% sure. But in this position, Magnus plays the move d3 to d4, c5, rook takes b2, c takes d4, rook takes b7, rook takes c4, queen b3 attacking the rook, queen c3 counter attacking the queen to a4, and this brilliant move, rook takes f3, g takes f3, queen g5, king h1, bishop to f4, king to g2, queen g5 check, king to h1 again, queen to f2, queen to f4 again, king to g2 again, and bishop to e5 this time. Going for this mate. So Magnus plays the move rook to d1, which is actually an accuracy. If he wanted to play a small bit of more accurate move, he should have played the move rook to h1. Note, at first, I'm not saying this. This is a game that they ran through both Ingens and Grandmasters, and they agreed that the move h1 was actually better. Rook h1 was actually better. Rook to c8. The idea of this is just getting the rook on the open file. Queen d7, rook to c2, getting his rook on the second rank. Probably going to pick up this a2 pawn, if I'm correct. So yeah. The move. Queen e8 check, king g7. Hold on. Oh no, sorry. I was about to say maybe he missed mate, but he didn't. Okay. Queen to e8. Oh, what the fuck did I just pull up? I don't know, I just pulled up. Queen to e8. She's Christ. Queen to e8 check. King to g7. Queen takes f7 check. Queen takes f7. Rook takes f7. King takes f7, f4. I do not know the idea behind f4. But I guess we're about to see it. Bishop takes f4, rook takes d4. That was the idea. Rook takes a2. Rook to c4. And now this move, bishop to e3. You cannot take this pawn. Your king would hang. King to f3, attacking the bishop and unpinning his pawn. c5, bishop c5, e5. Now the move. Now this move. Rook takes f2 check. King g3, king e6, e takes d6, rook f5. Now this move, rook a4, attacking this a6 pawn, which is actually very weak. Bishop takes d6 check. King to g2, a5. You cannot take this. The rook defends. So instead, he plays the move rook to e4 check. Rook e5, blocking the check. Rook h4. Bishop e4. Rook takes h7. a4. King to b7. Sorry, rook b7. And this move. Oh, I'm tired. This move, bishop to d6. he just play to keep his bishop safe. Rook a7 attacking the pawn, a3 defending the pawn, putting it in the line of sight of this bishop. Something like this. King f3, rook to e3 check, king g4. Opposed to this idea where if he takes bishop c5 check, something like king f4, and he wins this rook. So instead, g4, king g3 check, king to h4, rook b3, king to g5, and in a rook takes h3, king takes g6. This move, the move king to h5, king d5, king to h4, king to c3, king g4, and in time scramble the move bishop c5, king to f5, and, well, as you can see, Magnus hangs this rook. Now this was a time scramble, and this was a big win for Nihal Sarin. He beat a player that was 227 points higher than him. Magnus resigned because all he has is a king, and, well, as you can see, there's going to be a queen, something like this. Just, well, really isn't good. So, yeah. This was a good game from Nihal Sarin and Magnus Carlsen until, Magnus hung pieces, but we all do that. And I'm not going to make fun of him because if you watch that update video, I did not play my best game at that tournament, but granted, it was just bad luck for the tournament I went to, I guess, because of the situation. I'm not going to get into that here. But yeah, it's great to be making videos now again. My confidence is still decently high. I'm still intermediate online. It's just, it kind of sucks the fact that I lost. But meh. It was great watching y'all. Well, it's great to make this video, and yeah.